Dirt Trax is sponsored by CanAm. The ride says it all. Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation. And by Yamaha. Conquer Outdoors.
As I get older and hopefully a bit more mature, I'm beginning to realize that there are in fact a number of very valid reasons for buying a low displacement ATV. Cheaper? Obviously, but also easier to handle and easier to drive slow. And that's the big one for me. I have little girls. My oldest loves to follow me on her ATV as I lead, and my youngest loves to ride with me. The fact of the matter is that a 400 class ATV is easier to handle for me than an 850, but still gets me where I need to go. If you've accepted this reality as well, the question naturally becomes, which one do I want? There are a lot of choices in this category, but the biggest decision we see new buyers struggling with is price versus performance. With that in mind, I've assembled two ATVs at the opposite ends of this spectrum. First, we have Polaris's Sportsman 450 HO, arguably the best performing, smoothest riding, and most comfortable 400 class ATV on the market. On the other end of the scale is CF Moto's C-Force 400. It boasts one of the lowest retail prices of any full-size, fully spec'd ATVs on the market. So, which is the better choice? If it's yours or my hard-earned pesos being shelled out for a new ATV, which one is the one we should buy? Do we go with proven performance or incredible price? First and foremost, we need to look at the price of these two vehicles. The Polaris, with a proven track record and undeniable performance in every category, retails for $59.99 US. CF Moto's C-Force 400, on the other hand, retails for $44.99 US. That's a $1,500 difference. Or, to put it in perspective, the C-Force is 3/4 the price of the Polaris. Both feature fully independent front and rear suspensions, with the Polaris boasting 8.2 inches of travel out front and 9.5 in the rear, and the CF Moto coming in not far off with 9 inches of travel up front and 8.2 inches in the rear. Both feature shiftable 4x4 as well. The C-Force uses a very Yamaha-ish double button setup and includes electronic diff lock. The Sportsman uses Polaris's proven on-demand system. Both bikes feature more than adequate lighting, well-appointed switchgear, full floorboards, single lever brakes, EFI, and adequate but less than flashy gauge packages that provide all the info you really need. Transmissions on both are automatic CVT units with low range included. When the rubber hits the trail, the truth really starts to shine through though. CF Moto's C-Force 400 has got a good motor and impressive top end, and it starts and runs excellent. However, despite its excellent quality CV Tech clutches, power delivery feels really sluggish and it takes forever to get up to top speed. Suspension on the C-Force 400 is stiff. Even with the adjustable preload collar set to full soft, it's still really stiff. There may be 9 inches of travel on tap, but you really only feel like you're using 4 of it. In the handling department, the C-Force steers very heavy. Feedback from the ground is transferred to the handlebars more than we'd like. On the other hand, the 4x4 system works perfect, transferring equal power to all 4 wheels when diff lock is engaged. The transmission shifter works excellent and is very smooth. Brakes require a heavy pull, but are very strong and do feature steel-braided lines. One odd thing to note, while the C-Force does have single lever brakes, the lever is on the right side, not the left like every other single lever equipped ATV on the market. We haven't had any mechanical or reliability issues with our C-Force 400. The truth is, it's a solid running bike and is more than capable of getting you anywhere you might need to go. One ride on any Polaris and it becomes pretty clear why they're #1 in the industry. Even their littlest 4x4, the 450, feels extremely refined. Power from its EFI engine is impressive, and that power is delivered to the ground through a perfectly tuned set of CVT clutches. Top speed is good, but this bike really shines down low when you need that extra grunt. Ride quality is superb. Everything from small rocks and roots to large washouts are handled with ease. And speaking of handling, this Sportsman is definitely all Polaris. Handling is light and feedback from the ground is nearly non-existent. Polaris's on-demand 4x4 system works fantastic, exactly as it does on all other Polaris models. The transmission shifter is one area we think Polaris can improve on. It feels mushy and it's just not as positive as the CF Moto. It does work good, it just doesn't give you the same accurate feel. The Sportsman's single lever brakes are strong yet don't require excessively heavy pull at the lever. The lever is also on the left side, which is the right side. Our Sportsman 450 has been a tank since day one. It does what we need it and expect it to do without any reliability or mechanical issues at all. After spending some quality time on both of these low-cost, low-displacement ATVs, pondering the price versus performance dilemma, we here at Trax have finally come to a conclusion. If you're buying strictly based on price, you're going to buy the CF Moto. It's an absolutely solid ATV that does what a low-cc ATV needs to do. If you have a local dealer, you really can't go wrong here. At $1,500 less than the Polaris, it's an outstanding deal. But if you're buying based on any other criteria, it's really hard not to recommend the Polaris. Yes, it is 25% more expensive than the CF Moto, but it's got a better motor, better ride, better handling, better established dealer network, and a more proven track record.
Trax is sponsored by Princess Auto, a unique world of equipment, tools, and more.
Orlando, Florida. It was the location of the 2017 CanAm dealer show where BRP would be releasing the latest products for CanAm on-road as well as off-road and also Sea-Doo. And guess what? I got a ticket. 2016 is shaping up to be an impressive year for CanAm with the full build of the Defender and the Defender Max. The dealer show was nothing but excitement as everyone was biting their nails for the big release, being the new Maverick X3. We knew what it would look like, we had some idea of the capability, but we knew nothing about just how different this vehicle would truly be. CanAm pulled out all of the stops for this introduction to the dealers. With over 2,200 in attendance, they truly put on one heck of a show. From Jason Ellis of SiriusXM to Ken Block and BJ Baldwin, it was no disappointment. A live band was on site pumping up the crowd, and once we cut through all the hype, there was nothing left but to show us precisely what this new vehicle was all about, what it is at its core, and just how game-changing it was going to be. And as you already know, it's impressive, delivering class-leading, well, everything. Once the sheets had been pulled off and Ken and BJ had put on a show for us, every single person in the room wanted to get their hands on the new X3. And that's precisely what myself and everybody else did. Having the CanAm off-road product manager, Olivier Camus, on site was invaluable, as he helped me to fully understand the intricacies of this massive undertaking. He was able to point out key features that may be overlooked, such as the easy access panels to service brake fluid, coolant, the turbo compartment, as well as the air intake pre-filter for the engine and CVT intakes. He was also able to explain the precision and focus which went into key pieces, like the seats designed by the same person who creates the seats for Ferrari. This vehicle is made for the ultimate enthusiast, and nothing has been spared. I was anxious to ride it the next morning.
That's smart. So we are in Orlando, Florida right now. We are right in the heart of Orlando off International Drive. I mean, the convention center is behind me, the Hyatt Regency is on my left, and this is a huge, beautiful open field that they've turned into a semi-motocross track for us. So pretty cool. We're at the introduction of the X3. Last night we saw everything, as you know, and then this morning we get to go out and actually test the 72 as well as the 64. So pretty excited to be able to go out and do that. And I mean, it's a beautiful day. Rained all last night, so it's humid, but it's going to keep the dust down and we'll be able to have some fun for just a little bit before the dealers get to come out and test these as well.
To say this vehicle is different would be an understatement. CanAm has for the first time used a rear engine design featuring an ACE 900 modular motor equipped with a totally in-house designed turbo and intercooler. The turbo is so close to the engine it's part of the manifold, keeping the pressure optimized and the turbo lag essentially non-existent. And let me tell you, 154 horsepower is sweet. The transmission is also a gear-on-gear design directly connected to the rear wheels, maximizing efficiency. The CVT is a new design and accelerates the airflow with larger fins on the clutches, as well as larger diameter plumbing to and from the housing. This results in 20% reduced clutch temps over the previous Maverick and a belt service life of 2,000 K. The rear suspension on the Maverick is a 5-link design, and this sweet geometry that CanAm has been able to come up with results in less than 1 degree of deviation of the wheels throughout its travel, meaning that the X3 has pretty much eliminated scrub. The suspension is incredible. While we didn't have a huge track, we did have large roller bumps that could be hit at a good rate of speed. The 72 XRS soaked up the bumps with ease, showcasing the 24-inch travel in the back and 22 up front. The Fox 3-inch bypass rear shocks are nothing short of incredible, offering the biggest and best suspension technology and travel the industry has to offer. Even the base and XDS model come with 20 inches of travel all around, as well as premium 2.5-inch Fox shocks, and are nothing short of impressive. The frame on the new X3 is 20% lighter, 53% more rigid, uses 100% fully welded design, and also utilizes a brand new steel technology that's found in European supercars. The material is called DP980 and allows the diameter of the tubing to be only 1.85 inches, but gives better strength. Now with a fully welded cage, you may wonder what happens if you do end up bending it. CanAm has already thought of that and designed a cage with a cutoff point on all 4 points at a flat plate, already drilled for a dealer-available replacement cage top. These guys think of everything. And speaking of everything, they have a full line of integrated accessories designed specifically for the X3, available from your CanAm dealer. There's so much more to tell you about the incredible features of the new Maverick X3, but you're going to have to wait just a few more episodes to see a full test ride, as well as a full-length feature, where we're going to take this new X3 to Mexico and run part of the Baja.
Dirt Trax is brought to you by MBRP Performance Exhaust. Lightweight performance.
Whether or not you're a Polaris rider, you can't deny the fact that they dominate many of the ATV and side-by-side categories in this industry. We here at Dirt Trax think this is for one simple reason. They continually outdo themselves. Forget about outdoing the competition. Polaris is known to take their own best-selling, class-leading models and completely revamp them to be even better, long before customers even start to ask for it. This momentum is what brought us the Sportsman XP, Ranger XP, and Ace 900 vehicles. And don't think for a second that for 2017, this momentum is slowing down at all. If you liked the 2016 Sportsman XP 1000, you're going to absolutely love the 2017 model. Countless updates, changes, and improvements that once again take this vehicle to another level. For starters, the bodywork has been completely redesigned. Fenders, racks, side panels, everything is new. A smaller profile headlight pod really keeps things sleek. The racks have built-in extensions that helps keep your cargo in place and gives you unlimited locations to tie your stuff down. The next thing that'll catch your eye is the new curved high-clearance front and rear lower A-arms. They serve so many more purposes than just cool looks. No, they don't increase the actual measured ground clearance of the vehicle. What they do is extend the width of the ground clearance window under the vehicle. This means you don't have to worry about putting those large obstacles directly down the center of the bike to avoid contact with the A-arms. Another update for the Sportsman is a new drive-by-wire throttle system that's so transparent you wouldn't even know it's there unless I told you so. The drive-by-wire throttle allows for the addition of multiple drive modes to suit any situation. Work mode keeps power delivery ultra smooth and limits top speed. Standard mode is perfect for everyday driving situations, and performance mode unlocks all 90 horsepower that 952cc twin cylinder is pumping out. Another exciting new piece of equipment in the 2017 Polaris lineup is the Ace XC, which is based on the Ace 900 platform but features an entirely new suspension system that comes in at just under 59 inches wide. Up front are a new set of double A-arms, and all 4 corners produce 12+ inches of travel and are damped by a set of adjustable Walker Evans remote reservoir shocks. The 900 Ace is a cool new model to say the least. For 2017, all ETX models or anything powered by the 32 horsepower 330 single is gone and is replaced by a new 500 single that puts out about the same horsepower but way more torque. The ETX and 330 models' real downfall was not top end, it was how long it took to get there. This problem is solved with the new 500 engine, and if you're thinking it's a shame that the ultra-affordable ETX is gone, think again. The new 500 series of ATVs and side-by-sides are either the same price as their old 330 powered siblings or a few $100 less. Yeah, you heard that right. More torque for less money. While there really is a ton of new stuff to talk about, we only have time for so much. So the final piece of new tech you need to know about is definitely Ride Command. The heart of the Ride Command system is its dash-mounted, ruggedized 7-inch touchscreen. This glove-friendly interface allows you to select from 6 different modes, all available anytime while you're moving. The 6 main functions of the Ride Command system are Vehicle Info, which is basically the vehicle's gauge cluster and is customizable, GPS, which utilizes a vehicle-mounted GPS receiver and your data-connected smartphone through the Ride Command app, both front and rear-facing wide-angle cameras that can be monitored at any time, phone and audio control via Bluetooth from your smartphone. This includes text and email alerts, making and ending calls from the screen and controlling all the music on your device. There's a complete vehicle diagnostics and telemetry page that allows you to view things like top speed, distance traveled, time traveled, and all kinds of other information. And finally, the system completely integrates with your GoPro camera. Not only can you start and stop recording with your GoPro, but you can view a live feed from your camera and adjust many settings as well. If you don't think this is cool, you have no idea what cool actually is. For 2017, Polaris is offering new technology, new engines, new models, and all kinds of great new updates, proving they have no intention of letting their infamous momentum slow down in any way.
Closed captioning of Dirt Trax is sponsored by Triton Trailer, built for adventure.
The most important aspect of a 2-up ATV is how comfortable it is for the passenger. Boom, your mind has been blown. Only if you've never had a passenger. For anyone who has, they know exactly what I'm saying and why I'm saying it. The truth is, the driver of an ATV can compensate for any negative traits that ATV may have with body English or adaptations of different riding techniques. But the passenger is pretty much at the mercy of both the driver and the vehicle. So when Arctic Cat brought their TRV series of ATVs over to their new Alterra platform, I was very curious to see what kind of focus was put on passenger comfort versus just adding a few inches to the chassis and a second seat. The best way to get a full evaluation of this was to take my wife along for the ride. If anybody was going to let me know what works and what doesn't on the back of any vehicle, it's definitely her. In terms of how the TRV is for the driver, it's a lot like any other Alterra. It's comfortable to sit on. Ours is an XT model, so it's got EPS, which is a must-have in my opinion. Handling is light, but there's a bit of twitchiness on initial turn-in. It's something you can get used to though. Arctic 700 single is a good motor, but it has to be dealt with for what it is, not for what you want it to be. It is a 700, it's not an 850 or a 1000. It's got stout bottom end, excellent mid-range, and then falls flat at the top, the way most big bore singles do. It does start and run excellent, and I have to say this vehicle is clutched really well, especially for a 2-up ride. It's smooth on engagement, it pulls through the mid-range, it back shifts quickly. Your passenger will certainly never complain about it being jerky. The XT package comes with a whole bunch of goodies, very few of which your passenger will actually appreciate. Nice looking black aluminum wheels, 25-inch Carlisle Trail Pro tires, and Speed Rack 2 front and rear. The XT package also includes the aforementioned power steering, which everyone will appreciate, and it comes standard with the coolest head and tail lights in the business. Strictly bling, but come on, you know they're sweet. Now let's move on to the stuff that your passenger is either going to like or dislike about the Alterra TRV. Up first, let's talk about suspension. The shocks are just basic units with preload adjusters. They are damping 10 inches of travel all around, and even with the spring set at full soft and 2 people on board, they're stiff. I think the first thing I do with a TRV is pick up a set of shocks and springs from a regular Alterra. That vehicle rides quite well. I think the idea with the shock settings on the TRV was to make them stiff enough to account for the extra weight of the passenger, but without them being adjustable, they're just too stiff. The passenger seating position is fantastic though. The raised running boards are high enough that even a small passenger can reach them. The seat is soft and supportive, but the best part, definitely the passenger handholds. Look at how many options there are for holding onto these handles. There's literally 5 different ways you can grip them, and they're made out of a nice soft rubber compound and are at the perfect height for an average size rider. There's one thing I feel the need to complain about with all 2-up ATVs, not just the Alterra, though it is guilty as well. What's up with not offering an adjustable backrest? Look, not every passenger is the same size or shape, and not every passenger wants the backrest in exactly the same position. Furthermore, 4 of the big OEMs, present company included, also manufacture 2-up snowmobiles, and they all have adjustable backrests. This is something I think needs to change on all 2-up ATVs, this one included. So the bottom line with the Alterra TRV 700 XT is pretty simple. From a driver's perspective, it's a good ATV when you keep in mind that it is a 700. Put it up against 850s and it can't keep up, but against other 700 singles, it's strong competition. From a passenger's perspective, it has a lot going for it in terms of ergonomics, but it suffers from a stiff ride and one-size-fits-all backrest. We like the little touches like the rubber coating on the racks, front and rear storage, and simple and intuitive 4x4 selector switch. But we wish there were a few more goodies included in the XT package to help justify the extra cost. My final verdict on Arctic Cat's Alterra 700 TRV XT is this. It's got a good motor and drivetrain, power steering, and good ergonomics. It costs a little bit more than some of its competition, but it costs less than others. It's a good mid-bore 2-up ATV that's just on the edge of greatness. It just needs a little bit more refinement. And in this case, my passenger agrees.
Dirt Trax Television has been sponsored by Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation. CanAm, the ride says it all. And by Arctic Cat. Share our passion.
If you've enjoyed watching this Dirt Trax TV segment, we encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you'll never miss another update.